This video is brought to you by Ageless Geeks.
Hey, what is up guys? This is Anthony, aka BatBomb82, and today I'll be doing a review of the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Spiderman. Now, taking a look at the front, we can see that the figure is showcased in a window box packaging. We can see an image of the figure on the left and the Marvel logo on the bottom right. Turning the box around, we can see multiple comic book-like panels showcasing the figure in multiple posing positions with his different interchangeable parts and accessories. So with the box out of the way, let's crack this figure open and see what we have inside. And here is Spider-Man out of the box. And man, this guy has a ton going on. I know everyone doesn't like Revoltech figures because of the weird awkward joints, but if you're looking for a super hyper-articulated Spider-Man that can do almost anything, then this is definitely the figure for you. He's got a great sculpt and great paint apps and a ton of cool accessories. But before we take a closer look at the figure, let's take a look at those accessories. So Spider-Man does come with a ton of accessories. Starting off, he comes with 5 web effects, 4 pairs of interchangeable eyes, a tool to remove the eyes, 4 pairs of interchangeable hands, a standard Revoltech stand with an articulated arm that articulates at 3 points, and a separate connector piece with a magnet. So with the accessories out of the way, let's take a closer look at Spider-Man. Alright guys, now let's take a closer look at the Revoltech Spider-Man. Now I know I'm a little late on this figure, checking it out. I know it's been out for quite a while, but I still wanted to do a review and give you my thoughts on it. I am actually a big fan of the Revoltech style. Now I know not everyone is. There is quite a bit of a learning curve when it comes to the articulation and whatnot, and I know the articulation is a big problem with a lot of people. Me personally, I love doing dynamic poses, and the Revoltech line is just perfect for me. So, you know, I know a lot of people complained about the shoulders with both, especially this guy, because you can't really get him in just a static pose, just going straight up and down like that, and we're to the point where it looks very good, excuse me. But in my opinion, why would you do that with a Spider-Man figure in the first place? Let alone a Revoltech figure, but a Spider-Man figure. When will you have a Spider-Man figure on your shelf just standing there? It's Spider-Man. You want him in the most dynamic pose possible, so I don't understand why people are complaining about that. The figure looks great itself. The sculpt and whatnot looks great. All the webbing itself around the entire figure is sculpted, and I think it looks very good. I love the way it's done and whatnot. It even has some black paint in there, or some darker paint in there, to really make the webbing pop. Looks really good. I like the fact that he's pretty lean for the most part. This has got some strong looking legs and whatnot. I love the metallic blues that they chose to paint this. I think it looks really cool. I actually do love that a lot. Again, just pretty standard for the most part. It's a pretty standard looking Spider-Man suit and whatnot, and I think it came out really good. The paint on the big spider on the back, I think it looks really good too. Again, a lot of that metallic blue paint, you can see it in my lights right there. It looks really nice. It looks really good in person. Even the spider on the chest looks really clean too, so I do love that. So let's take a look at some of his accessories here. First and foremost, I will talk about his eyes. He does get interchangeable eyes with this. You do get this little tool right here. It's a little pick tool, and the way you do it, you kind of like pick right here in the corner of his eye, and you could just pull one of those out, and you can see it out of the socket, and then you can grab something else. Like I'll grab this one, and you can just kind of slide this in that little hole right there. Now he has that kind of like more squinty eye look for that side, you know what I mean? Let me take this one out, pop this one out here, and you can put in something more, let's see, put in one of the more bigger type of eyes. So let me see, pop that on. It's a little tricky, to be honest with you. Boom, so you can now he has that wide eye on that side, and you can mix and match them or put them in the same exact eyes if you want. So it's really up to you. I like the fact that we do get multiple options when it comes to that. The fact that we get multiple types of eyes to get different expressions and whatnot, and just really, it's really good for the display options. So that's very, very cool. So I'll leave those big ones on for right now, because I think those are kind of cool. You also do get interchangeable hands. Right now I do have the flipping hands right on there, which is really cool, or the rock-on hands. Yeah, I love that. You can see a little peg hole right there in the palm, and that's to put in his different web effects. We got these little ones right here. You just cut a little peg right in there, and you will plug those on like so. So you got something like that. You do get 2 of these ones right here for like shooting webs. But in this hand over here, you got a more close-fisted hand. That one also has a peg hole right in there. And that's for some of the longer effects, like this one. It has a little peg like so, and that's to make it look like he's actually like web swinging and whatnot. So you can kind of pose it around with the stand that it comes with, and it makes it look like he's more swinging around and whatnot. So pretty cool that we get that option. We also get this one right here. This one's more of a softer type of plastic, not as rigid. It does have a little hoop through it. This is more for, like, you know, lassoing another character and whatnot, and it does have that same peg to plug into the hand like so he can hold it and whatnot. So, or even just you know, flipping around in the background or behind him or whatnot, just to get some other display options along with it. And the hand just popped off. Oh, and then the arm just popped off. So that's the one thing I do both like and hate about Revoltech. The parts do come off fairly easily, but they also go back on fairly easily when you're posing them around, so that does help prevent with breakage and whatnot. So, see, now I put on one of the raw crawling hands, like so, and then the other arm fell off. So, again, like I said, sometimes they do come off pretty easily, but they go back on pretty good, so it's not too big of a deal for me. You do get your standard Revoltech stand. He does have a little peg right there in the back, and you just plug that in like so, and you get some nice aerial poses and whatnot like that. We also do get this piece right here. This is a magnet, and that's to give him some like wall crawling type of poses and whatnot, and you could stick them on a fridge and things like that, and just pretty much wherever it's metal, you could use that and plug that in there, and you could get some the other display options, which I think is pretty cool. So let's take a look at articulation, which is pretty insane. So the head is on a ball joint up here, as well as the neck. So you can see it goes all the way around just like so. Pivots side to side just like that. Looks down very far with that neck joint. Looks up, but with the head itself, you can look all the way up, pretty much straight up, which is really cool, especially when you're doing some kind of like like crawling poses like that. You know what I mean? You could really get that nice headshots like that, which I think is very cool. So I do love that quite a bit. Like I said, side to side, roll around, pretty much anything you need to do. These hands are on those Revoltech ball joints, or the arms, excuse me. So you can go all the way up and down and out. Then you kind of go across the arm, or excuse me, go across the chest like that with that double joint, which works out very well with a lot of different poses. It also rotates in there in that cup. We get Revoltech joints at the elbow, which bends about that far, as well as rotate. Hand joints that rotate just like so, pivot around, roll around, pretty much do whatever you need for, like, you know, flipping like that, shooting webbing and things like that. So again, pretty much anything you really need to do. We get a ball joint up in here and in the lower torso right here. So this rolls around independently. You will get a little bit of gappage right there if you pull them back too far, but it's not terrible in my opinion. It does pivot, roll around, rotate, anything you like. Same thing with the bottom one, does rotate. This right here is actually a separate piece. It's like almost like a separate belt piece, so it doesn't really hinder articulation whatsoever. So it pivots again, rolls around, pretty much anything you need to do. So you can crunch forward like so. I mean, look at that. I mean, he could see what he's doing. I mean, he could look between his own legs like that, some spider butt, but not a lot of figures can do that, which is pretty insane if you really think about it. And that's one of those things is why I love Revoltech, because you can do almost anything. So the legs are kind of odd, so you kick up forward about that much and high about that much, as well as kick backwards. I mean, you could we'll do a full 360 if you like. They do splits about that far, which is pretty nice. We do rotate in there as well as a lower rotation in here. This one is on a weird axis, like so, and that's for more like when you want to do some of these like I said, crazy Spider-Man poses and whatnot, so you can really bring the leg up like that and kind of stuff. So just an example like that. The knees are on Revoltech joints, so they bend really far, which is really nice. There actually is a little cut right here for spacing with the calf to pull in there, so you can get a really nice far bend. Does rotate as well, swivel at the boot, and his other leg fell off. Again, like I said, these things do come off pretty easily for the most part when you're hosing them around. Like I said, they go back on pretty good. So again, rotate at the boot, ankle joint, goes your pointed toe up and down, rotate, a little bit of an ankle rocker in there, and toe articulation. So again, I love Revoltech figures because you can do almost anything with them. I know they're really difficult, like you've seen with me. The joint pieces are falling off left and right. But again, if you can really live with that and you want just something that's very dynamic as far as posing goes, I think the Revoltech figures are absolutely perfect for you. I know they're doing a lot of other characters. They're coming out with like Magneto and Captain America. So they're kind of doing a whole like Marvel vs. Capcom, more on the Marvel side. But if you can find these, I think they're pretty awesome. I know they're on a little bit on the pricey side. And if you love dynamic posing, then I think you'll absolutely love this figure. So he is definitely a must get. So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Captain America figure, as well as a DCUC Batman figure. And for your Revoltech comparison, here he is standing next to the Revoltech Deadpool figure. Also for comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Venom and Mezco 112 Collective Miles Morales Spider-Man. And just for fun, here he is standing next to Little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys. My review of the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Spider-Man. Now overall, this is a pretty wicked piece. He's got a ton of cool things going on. I really do love his sculpt, and I absolutely love his paint apps. His articulation is pretty insane, but I can understand why a lot of people don't like him. He's got a lot of really cool interchangeable parts and web effects, and you can do almost anything with him. My only real minor complaint is that his joints do fall off pretty easily when you're posing him around. But other than that, he's incredible, and I think you would absolutely love him. So for great deals, head over to agelessgeeks.com for awesome action figures like this and all the things you love. So please comment, like, and subscribe. Stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.